Hello everyone, so today we're doing a pedal demo, and we're doing the BL-44 by Old Blood Noise Endeavors, which is one of my favorite pedal companies, so I'm very excited about it. Now the BL-44 is a reverse pedal, and that means it's going to listen to your playing, and it's going to play it back in reverse. But there's some magic to this pedal, and it has to do with the controls and the character of the pedal. This pedal sounds really, really great when you have it feeding into other effects, but I want you to hear only this pedal and only what it does in the cleanest way possible so you can decide if you want to buy it or not, because that's really the point of doing these demos, right? Okay, let's dive into the controls on this pedal. Now I have everything set to noon except for that mix knob. These controls are pretty straightforward. The mix knob is no exception, so it does what every other mix knob does, goes full dry to full wet. So right now, you're just hearing the loop that I'm playing through this to demo it. Now I kept the loop pretty sparse so you can really hear what the pedal is doing. So let's start bringing in the pedal. So that's 50% mix. And you can hear the reverse effect kind of happening under the playing there. Okay, let's go full wet so you can really hear what the pedal's actually doing. As you can hear, this pedal really shines when it's full wet. It just sounds really, really cool. Now, the volume knob is pretty straightforward. So on my pedal, the volume's about at unity. There is some extra gain on here to give you a little extra boost or cut if you feel like there's some volume changes based on how you're playing the effect. My pedal gives me about 4 to 5 extra dB of gain, but I don't know if they're all exactly that amount, but that's what my pedal does. So, when you go full mix, you can sometimes hear your volume dip down a bit. So this just gives you a way to kind of deal with that and, adjust for it if it occurs. So we're going to jump ahead to the speed knob here, and this knob basically sets the speed of the playback head, and it's broken up into quantized sections, so it's a little bit like a knob you might find on the count of 5. So at noon, it's unison reverse, and that means that the reed head moves as fast as the right head, so it's not going to pitch shift. Now when you go above noon, the reed head's going to speed up, and when you go below noon, it's going to slow down. So that creates pitch shifting and repeated or truncated notes. So let's listen to this. So if we go all the way to 0, and let's actually crank the mix so we can really hear what it's doing. Okay, so this is an octave down. Now notice you're starting to hear some kind of clock noise and glitchiness. We'll get into that a little more later with the clock slider there. So this is quantized, so when you move it up to a certain point, now you're hearing it a fifth down. Okay, now we're going to deal with that clock slider. Now for the fun part. So this sets the clock speed, and all the way right, it's a faster reverse without a lot of degradation or noise, and all the way left, it's a slower reverse, and it has more degradation and more noise. So this reminds me a lot of the clock knob on the Mood pedal. Just, you know, you're gonna get noise, you're gonna get character. I actually prefer the clock on this to be more in the noisier section. But one thing I do want to point out here is, as you change the speed, you also get some degradation. So there's some interplay between these two knobs, or the slider and the knob, that is something you can kind of dial in and play around with. So let's start messing with this pedal, and I'm going to crank the mix all the way up so you can really hear what it's doing. Okay, so we're at unison speed. Now, one thing you'll notice is when you jam this slider quickly, you hear the clock speed up and slow down. It's not automatic, it ramps to it. So it makes for a really cool momentary effect. Okay, so we're at the highest fidelity, we're at the highest clock speed. And you hear it kind of repeating and delaying in there. So this is the fastest speed, highest clock speed. Let's hear the slowest clock speed. That is drastically different than over here. Okay, let's go the other way. Let's listen to the speed set to the slowest. So you're not getting an enormous amount of noise and degradation there, but watch this. Now you can hear that. That's very dark, very glitchy, very noisy. It's completely degraded. And this is one thing I like to do with this pedal, is to have this really crudded up, degraded down octave signal under the main playing, and just have it kind of faded in there as a bed. And obviously you can play with the clock to kind of get the noise and the degradation at the level you prefer. I kind of feel like this pedal has two main uses. One is where it's just kind of sitting under your signal. Maybe this is obvious to say, but something like that, where it's almost like a just crapped out delay, just gnarled up and following under your playing. And it almost builds tension under it. That's one thing I like about that. It's messy and it's not precise. So this pedal is very imprecise in my opinion. It's hard to dial it into a perfect. So it kind of gets almost a delay, like repeat thing going on, and it's really hard to match that to your playing. So I think trying to do that is missing the point of this pedal. This pedal doesn't want to be a delay. It wants to be this messy reverb thing sitting under your playing like this. And of course, the other way I like using this pedal is to go full mix and to just have it do weird stuff to whatever you're playing through it. And again, I think there's some value in this pedal, you know, when you're playing something and you want to just kind of get a little kind of spark of something weird going on. To just do a quick slam of the clock switch and you get that kind of garbled up mess as it tries to catch up. That to me is really cool. Yeah, this is a very, very, very fun pedal. Not a lot of knobs, but a lot of depth to it, and it's really one of those effects that I think is one of those more, how should I put this? It's definitely more, it's more of a taste thing. Like, it can be really extreme, but then to use it, there's tasteful ways to use it as well, where it sounds really, really great, just kind of barely there under your playing. So you have this, just your clean. Just having it kind of sitting there floating under your playing, I don't know, I think there's a value to that. It just adds this kind of simmering tension under your playing. It's really cool. Yeah, it's great. Okay, so what are my final thoughts on this pedal? I would say that if you know anything about the kind of sounds I like, you probably know I'm going to love this thing. It's a reverse pedal, and I love the sound of guitar being reversed and then run into a bunch of other effects. So this type of thing is right up my alley. I'm really excited to move it around on different spots on the board, and you know, I did this demo very specifically to where you just heard the reverse pedal, so you could make a decision on what it really does and if it would work for you. But when you run this thing into delay, reverb, or some other crazy pedal like a Bocklings or a generation loss, you get some really cool effects out of that too. So that's something I'll probably show in later videos, but for now I just want to mention that this pedal really shines when it's paired with other pedals. I was a little surprised that there wasn't an expression jack, because I thought that ramping the clock slider would be something that I would want to do. I do want to say that after I've had the pedal for a while, I don't think I'd want to do that. I think moving the clock slider is more of a momentary effect, and I can just as easily reach down and slap that thing over. So I don't think having an expression jack on the pedal is necessarily something I'm missing at all. So that was the one thing that I thought would be, you know, an issue I'd have with the pedal, but it turns out it really isn't. So that's it, my friends. Thank you so much. Please like and share the video, and please sub to the channel, and I'll see you next time.